Now, over the last 1 week, we have seen videos of horror from Afghanistan. We've seen videos that show Taliban brutality, scenes of torture, scenes of despair at Kabul airport. In fact, just a while back, we had this video which was tweeted out by an Afghan news agency which shows chaos and mayhem at the Kabul airport. There was bloodshed, there were casualties that were reported after firing. And in fact, as we witness the horrors in Kabul and across Afghanistan as well, we will be joined by a special guest from Kabul who will throw more light on the situation in Kabul. We will be joined by the Director General of Kabul News Television, Ghulam Jalani Zwak, who's joining us live from Kabul, and he will give us more details about what is happening. Welcome, Mr. Zwak. Thank you for speaking with Republic TV. Mr.
Thank
Zwak,
you. Yeah, please.
Yeah, my first question to you would be if you could begin with telling us this current situation in Kabul. What is the situation on the streets? What have you witnessed so far? And what is the situation at Kabul airport?
Yeah, situation in Kabul airport is totally different than situation in the Kabul city. Because a lot of people rush to the airport to go outside of Kabul because the concern they have about the Taliban behavior. And also along this, some people, adventurers, they use this opportunity to go to outside of country to United States or other countries. So there are two kind of people in airport. And one kind, the people who have visas, who has travel documents, and who has invited by the embassies of United States and other countries to transport them to other countries. And some people are adventurous. They rush to Kabul airport without any document. So this creates a problem, and still this is the 6th day that this problem is out of control. A lot of casualties we have in several days, firing. And now the U.S. Embassy, the United States announced that asked their Americans not to go to the airport. So it means that there is concern, something happened in the airport, maybe clash between the passengers and security. And more than what is the big concern, if Taliban are in the city and they are ruling Kabul, if there is a concern of bomb blast or other kind of terror activity, so who are they? Daesh is doing this. So this means situation in Kabul airport is getting worse day by day and hour by hour.
Yes, Mr. Zwak, and while we talk about the situation in Kabul, there is what we've also seen with the videos that we are getting in our newsroom here, that there is a huge anti-Pakistan sentiment that is building up in Afghanistan. Now, Pakistan's role in the rise of Taliban cannot be ruled out in the last several months. Now, what would you say is Pakistan's support to Taliban that has emboldened them?
Well, Pakistan role to rising the Taliban not only in several months, but all 20 years. In 25 years, Taliban has very close relation with madrasas of Pakistan, with Pakistan officials, and they had sanctuaries there, they had military intelligence and logistics support there. And this all 20 years, Pakistan support Taliban. And now Taliban are ruling in Afghanistan. They came to Afghanistan. So, of course, this is a very big advantage for Pakistan, for Pakistan's influence in Afghanistan. So Pakistan is happy with this situation.
Yes, Mr. Zwar, and while we are on the topic of Pakistan, what we also know is that Shah Mahmood Qureshi would be Taliban's first state guest. He would be arriving tomorrow, is what we're getting to know. Now, there is a buzz that he is sort of brokering peace between two factions of Taliban and thus helping in the entire government formation. Is it true?
Well, of course, Pakistan will try to establish a government and play a vital role in what he can do for its influence in future government of Afghanistan. Because it is decided, Taliban itself decided not to establish only Taliban government. They want to establish a government with all other political parties and political powers. So Pakistan wants to use its influence in all sides, influence in Taliban, influence in other political parties, to be an influent country in Afghanistan for the future. So this is why he came here and he's trying his best. But I think this was not a good time for him to come to Afghanistan because there is no any government in Afghanistan.
Yes.
After formation of government, he's a foreign minister of a country, neighbor country, with whom we have a lot of differences. And this time, when we don't have any government, his coming into Afghanistan is it means this is a interference in Afghanistan.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Zwak, would you agree that Pakistan indeed has a huge role in the rise of Taliban? Because we've also seen how some of the terrorists, like the Haqqani network terrorists who were sheltered by Pakistan for so many years, who were given sanctuary, are currently in control of Kabul, who've been given charge of Kabul. So, what do you have to say on that front?
Well, not only Taliban. Pakistan has very vital role and very important role in rising of different terrorist groups in the region. The terrorists who are fighting against Kashmir, who are fighting against Afghanistan. This not only 20 years and 40 years, all political forces or terrorist groups, or from Mujahideen to Taliban to everyone who are fighting against Kabul, Pakistan is supporting them. And also they are supporting all the groups who are fighting against India. Pakistan is somehow the nursery of terrorism, this is no doubt. And of course now this is time they are using it as a tool. Terrorism, they have used terrorism as a tool in their foreign policies. So this is nothing new. And now when Taliban came to Afghanistan, so they want to get this advantage and influence in the region and competition with other countries in Afghanistan, especially with India. So of course, Pakistan will try to use this opportunity for this.
Mr. Zwak, I'm sure you heard US President Joe Biden's address yesterday. And in that address, he sort of completely put the onus of loss on Afghanistan itself. He blamed Afghan forces for the loss. He said that they did not fight enough. But don't you think that the US has also messed up on its Afghanistan policy? Your take on what Joe Biden said last night?
One thing I should clear that what Pakistan is doing is totally with coordination with US. Without coordination of US, it is not possible to Pakistan to launch some big project like support of Taliban, support of Daesh, and support of other terrorist groups. All of these things they are doing with coordination of US. And sometimes what Biden said, this is just he want to take the blame to the Afghan army only. But I think this is the result of US policies. As a journalist, I hear several times, I heard that Afghan army commander received fools not to fight against Taliban. Who are fooling them? So one day it will be clear that who were put them, who were ordered them, maybe from presidential place or maybe from U.S. embassy. I don't know, but someone who to the military commander of Afghan army not to fight with Taliban, and this is why our army collapsed. Our army not collapsed according in the result of our war. It collapsed as the result of, I cannot say it's a political compromise, but it is some kind of intelligence game. Our army collapsed. So, of course, U.S. is responsible for this. Unresponsible withdrawal of U.S. forces from Afghanistan also caused this situation. So the first responsible of Afghanistan situation is U.S. and then other.
Mr. Zwak, a couple of more questions before we let you go. What do you think about the Panjshir movement that has been led by Ahmad Shah? What impact will the Northern Alliance have in this entire fight against Taliban?
Well, of course, there are some resistance in Panjshir and some other districts around Panjshir and Baghlan, and also some ex-Afghan army officers and commanders joined them. This is a big threat to Taliban and for Afghanistan. But some political parties and some political figures are trying to resolve this issue by dialogue, and because this will start again another war in Afghanistan. So Afghan people are fed up with war. Most of political party are thinking that this is not need to go to war against Taliban. The political party who are against Taliban, but mostly them they don't want to fight Taliban because this war will be in Afghanistan and our common people will suffer this. So it's good first they try the political means and political ways of somehow to lead to a deal with Taliban, to a compromise with Taliban. I think it will be good if Panjshir issue also be solved according to a political compromise or deal.
Mr. Zwak, final question to you. How do you see India's role in this during this time of crisis? What do you think India's role should be?
Well, India can play a vital role and important role. India have relation with other international. India is an important part of international community. So India, along with other regional country, can launch an effort for stabilizing Afghanistan, for peace in Afghanistan. India can work with Russia, with Iran, with other countries, with United States to bring stability to Afghanistan. So India has a role, and India should play a role. India should not quit Afghanistan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zwak, for joining us live from Kabul and sharing your perspective and your take on what is happening in Kabul. Thank you very much for speaking with Republic TV.
Thank you.